It's never too late to raise your financial IQ, but it's definitely never too early. And if you haven't taught your teen anything about money yet and you feel like they're getting older and getting closer to the moving out stage, don't worry. You still have plenty of time. They're still young. But the idea is to give them a good, solid financial foundation before they leave home. Not after they move out, before they leave home. Once your kids hit their teens, they already have some ideas about how money works, and really this is a time to squash any myths that they may be believing or they may have fallen into, and to plant the seeds for a financial foundation of freedom. There are plenty of ways to teach teens about money. These are the areas that we've focused on. Please subscribe for more videos on money, minimalism, and our travel journey around the world. We publish a new video every week. Let's talk about the basics. While responsibility is part of the basics, I saved that for a separate section. We're talking about the rest of the basics first. And whenever I say basics, I mean things that you do every day that your teens watch you do that you've never even realized you haven't taught them how to do. I'll explain. So here are some things that you may need to teach your teens to do that you just assume they know how to do, but they probably don't because you've never taught them. How to use an ATM. How to count change or give change back. How to calculate a tip. How to check in at a hotel. How to rent a car. How rent and deposits work. How to pay a utility bill. And how to write a check. Yes, today's teens still need to know this. And once your kids hit the teen years, you can start letting them see you do all of this stuff and showing them the details. Walk them through the process and show them what you're doing along the way. I actually worked in customer service for a number of years, and you might be surprised at how many kids don't even know how to pay for food at a restaurant, or how to go into a convenience store and buy a few things and pay for it, or pay for gas. We take these everyday things that we do for granted because we've been doing them for so long, we don't even realize that we have to learn how to do them. We had to learn how to do them one way or another. And there's a good chance your kids have never done any of this stuff, so it's good to let them start to do these adult things as they get older. Likewise, don't hide your finances from your teens. I'm just going to go ahead and link a video I did about hiding your finances from your kids and why that's a bad idea, but just go watch that video. I won't go into much more detail on that. Let's talk responsibility. Opening a checking account with your teen is a great way to teach your teen about financial management, money management. Saving for a car is a great way to teach them delayed gratification. And a savings account is also good for obvious reasons. There's a lot of ways to raise a financially responsible teen, but it all begins with giving them control. Once they hit their later teen years, they should be spending their own money, they should be paying for their own things. And they shouldn't be asking mom and dad for a handout every time they want something. And as a teen, they're actually ready to create their first budget. It's going to be small, it's probably not going to include very much, but that'll be good because it'll be easier when they enter adulthood and they actually start having to create a budget with a lot more things listed. They'll already have the basics down at a simple level that they can understand. And your teen probably wants to get a job if they don't already have one. I did a video recently with 12 great jobs for kids, including 12 and 13-year-olds, but especially for 16-year-olds. So I'll link that as well. But in their later teen years especially, it's a good idea for them to go ahead and get a job, start to learn work ethic, start to learn the value of hard work, all that. Now, debt and student loans. The debt talk is one of the most important talks you can have with your teen. You need to explain the dangers of debt and how it's always best to avoid it when you can. You can cover all the ways that your teen can go to college without going into debt. Their friends may be acquiring student loans like it's the only option, but your kids are going to know better. I already covered how to get a debt-free degree. I did a whole video on that. I'm not going to tell you to go watch that video. You can if you want to, but quickly, these are the 5 things that I covered, the 5 ways to get a debt-free degree. Number 1, save for college. You can just take the time and the discipline and save for college. Number 2, apply for scholarships. This should be a full-time job for any junior or senior in high school. They can do 1 a week, 1 a month, whatever the case, but apply for scholarships like it's a full-time job. Number 3, apply for financial aid. This comes in many forms. Number 4, work through college. Studies actually show students who work themselves through college have better grades because they care a lot more about something when they have skin in the game. And number 5, join the military. Obviously this is not for everybody, but it is an option and it's often forgotten. So those are the most basic and the easiest ways to go to college without debt. And it's important that your kids know that so they don't get into debt and get some sort of nonsensical student loan and ruin their lives. And if you combine all those things, it's really easy to get a debt-free degree. And student loans won't be the only enemy. From the first day your kid sets foot on a college campus, they're going to be bombarded with credit card offers and all kinds of offers for loans on rent-to-own, furniture, all kinds of things when people are preying on college kids, just like they prey on military right outside of military bases. Same thing. And your kids need to know the dangers of debt before they're ever offered their first credit card. Finally, let's talk generosity. No one has ever become poor by giving. Anne Frank. I love that quote, and it's so true. Giving is taught. Generosity has to be instilled in your kids. From tipping a server to giving to a major charitable project, kids need to know that giving is part of life and it's an important part of life. So if you only teach your teen one thing about money, giving is probably a good one, but I don't know why you would only teach them one thing about money. Just teach them all the things. And while give and you shall receive is important to learn and to understand, and it is a spiritual law that works, I believe, Christian or non, it works for anybody. You give and you will receive. Generally, whatever you give is what you will receive. Stuff for stuff, money for money. That just tends to be how it works. I don't have any backing for that, but that's what I've seen in my life. But it's also important for your kids to understand the importance of giving for the sake of giving and not to receive. Teach them about tithing, or rather generous giving is what I call it. I'll link an article I did below on generous giving and how that replaced the tithe for the Christians, and how 10% should be the bare minimum, and it's a great starting point. But anyways, I'll link an article I did about that. I don't think the 10% thing still applies to Christians, but I think it is a good starting place. Just as a quick side note, I think our model is Jesus. Jesus gave everything, so the goal is 100%. We're trying to get there, but back to the video. So all of our money belongs to God. We're merely keeping a percentage of it whenever we spend our own money. No dollar given is ever regretted, and giving isn't always the natural tendency, especially for a saver. For spenders, they like to give often, but for savers, giving may not come naturally, so you may have to instill that and teach your kids to balance it out. If they want to give all of their money, teach them the importance of spending a little on themselves and the importance of saving and giving, investing also. If they don't want to give at all, then teach them the value of giving and just make sure it's balanced, like they're spending, they're saving, they're giving, and then ultimately they're investing. And generosity isn't just about giving money to the church or to a charity or feeding the homeless. There are countless causes and countless ways to give. You don't have to just give your money, you can give your time, you can give stuff, you can give other things, but there is an important aspect to learning the value of giving money specifically. Some causes just need money. So if your child only gets one lesson before they leave home, let it be the lesson of generosity. But again, why would you just give them one? Teach them everything we talked about. Teach your teen about money. They need to know this stuff before they leave home. They need to be set up on a good path financially. Before you go, please subscribe for more of these videos on teaching kids about money and on minimalism and our travel journey around the world. If you're interested in teaching kids more about money, check out my new book, Intentional Children. I'll put a link to that below. It's all about kids on money and mindset and how they view the world and things we need to teach them. If your kid is already out of the house and moved out, I do have a book called 10 Branches of Growth that was written to teens who just moved out of the home. So 18 to 22-year-olds, maybe 18 to 25-year-olds. It's like a life manual on money and time management and habits and all kinds of stuff that's written for them. Intentional Children is written for parents who still have kids in the home. So I'll put a link to both of those below. That is all for today. I will see you next week.